cosas cambiaron, una situación cabrón. Suéltame para siempre, no mires atrás. Las cosas cambiaron, una situación cabrón. Suéltame para siempre, no mires atrás. Las cosas cambiaron, la situación cabrón. Suéltame.
LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it, and so do I. It has never mattered who the host is. Anyways, today is Monday, June the 6th of 2022, day 157th of the year, and only 208 days left to go. So how was it? How was your weekend? Did you do anything exciting? Were you glad? Were you wishfully clean? Hold on, that's springfully clean. Hold on, that's something else. What am I thinking of? So how are you? How did everything go? Did you do anything that was super exciting that we need to talk about? If you do, let's do that real quick. Callinradio.com. That will get you to the places that you want to go, because that's the easiest way to do it. So anyways, we are broadcasting live from our Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. And we are coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging and banging with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, hanging out at radiobig.fm. So just in case if you're wondering, yes, part of the TuneIn family also as well. So let's see. There is so much that occurred over this weekend that I am not even sure where to start. So maybe we just start talking about what was trending, because maybe that's the easiest way to do that, because that's going to be some of the easiest things to go about and talk about and all that fun stuff. So let's do that ahora mismo. So here we go. So anyways, taking a look around at what was trending over the weekend. If you were taking a look at the different days, on Saturday was National Hug Your Cat Day, which I don't recommend doing if your cat's an asshole, because he might scratch you up, or she might scratch you up, or it might scratch you up, depending on how you want to take a look-see at it. So there you go. Also, hashtag Platinum Party at the Palace was trending on Sunday as the royal family continued to celebrate the Queen's Elizabeth's 70th year at the throne. Twitter users reacted to the news of Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan calling it quits over the weekend. Okay. Also, Sunday was National Moonshine Day. Damn it, I knew I was missing out on something important. There you go. That was the important thing that I was missing out on. And then also hashtag feels like time travel when was trending on Sunday as tweets included, I see people doing a unique exercise in the park. I step out the front door. I have to go to my grandma's house. I bust out the record collection, and I bust out the old Sega. So there you go. That was some of the stuff that was trending. Also, hashtag World Environmental Day landed on Twitter's top 10s on Sunday as users urged followers to do their part in working towards a greener planet. Yes, a greener planet. So there you go. So that was the stuff that was actually making the circle of events, if you were taking a look-see around there. So I don't know. A lot of stuff was happening, and there's a lot of news to talk about, and there is a lot of things and jigs of a bro and all that stuff to move and groove on. So let's do the explainer real quick. Not the explainer video, but just the explainer itself. If you are new to this thing, let me explain. This is how it goes. We talk about some lingo about what is going on inside of the world and what is going on in the world of safety, and then we kind of mix some of those things together, and then we do au revoir. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk about what is going on inside of the world of news, and then from there, we get together one more time, as you can interact with the show at callinradio.com. And then I will come back in and talk about what is going on from my point, and then we kind of call it a day. Kind of a simple process. It's a simple process on how we do this. So just to make sure that we're extremely clear, we talk about news and safety, not just news and not just safety, where some people get hung up about it. But I thought this was a safety show. It's okay. I thought this is the news show. It's okay. We get there together. We talk about both. Because here's the thing. If I spoke about safety the whole time during the show, you're not going to stick around. If I talk about news the whole time, you're not going to hang around. And if you just wanted straight news, I have a news channel that can probably just feed into this thing. We can do it in that fashion. So don't go too far away, and let's get into the world of the news, of what is going on out there, because I think we're going to want to know this stuff because, there's a quiz right after this section.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. South Korea and the U.S. fired 8 missiles early today in response to North Korea's short-range ballistic missile launches on Sunday. Trey Thomas reports.
South Korea's military said its launch of 8 surface-to-surface missiles demonstrated their capability and readiness to carry out a precision strike against the North's launch sites or command and control centers. Defense experts say North Korea's launches on Sunday were probably the communist state's biggest single test and came a day after South Korea and the U.S. ended joint military drills.
A Texas congresswoman will hold a rally this evening in support of WNBA star Brittany Griner. She's been held in a Russian jail since February. Griner, a Houston native and center for the Phoenix Mercury, was arrested at a Russian airport after hashish oil was allegedly found in her luggage. The public is finally going to see the events of 2021's Capitol riot woven together. Mark Mayfield explains.
Representative Adam Schiff called that the most important takeaway for Americans once public hearings on the January the 6th committee's findings begin on Thursday. Appearing on CBS Face the Nation, the California Democrat added, "It's important for people to understand how one line of effort to overturn the election led to another in what's considered the first non-peaceful transfer of power in our history." Schiff also called the decision of the Justice Department to not prosecute President Trump's former chief of staff Mark Meadows or social media director Dan Scavino a grave disappointment.
An overwhelming majority of Americans favor reducing gun violence over gun rights. A new ABC Ipsos poll finds 70% of people surveyed said new laws reducing gun violence should take priority over protecting gun rights. 23% said gun rights should be a higher priority than lowering gun violence. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Russia says it will expand its list of targets in Ukraine if long-range weapons are supplied to Kyiv by Western countries. There will be a confidence vote in the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson later. Australia is accusing the Chinese military of carrying out dangerous manoeuvres in the South China Sea, and India's approved a new booster shot as COVID-19 cases spike in the country again.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
3 minutes at the May 17th Grand Rapids, Michigan City Commission meeting are changing the life of 13-year-old Naira Taminga. The girl will be a City High middle school freshman in the fall and spoke passionately about the shooting death in April of Patrick Lyoya.
Just as a community, we need to come together and we need to show those in power that there's a problem and that we need it fixed because it's coming down to people's lives. And that just isn't something that we should risk. We shouldn't risk people being lost.
Dominguez says she wants kids younger than her to be able to grow up in a better world than she is, and adds she wants to reach other people. Leslie Jones, Viola Davis, D.L. Hughley, Dan Levy, and Jesse Williams are among prominent men and women that have shared her speech. Today marks the 78th anniversary of D-Day. World War II veterans are there, joined by thousands of visitors at the American Cemetery in Normandy, France.
As they faced the horrors of combat and loss, they knew the value of peace. We, who have had the luxury of living in peace and prosperity, owe to them a duty to remember what they went through and what price they paid.
The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff will be on hand as U.S. Air Force aircraft fly over the burial site as part of a commemoration ceremony. This is the first D-Day anniversary without restrictions since 2019. More than 9,000 people who took part in fighting on D-Day and in ensuing operations are buried at the American Cemetery. Almost 160,000 troops from the U.S., Canada, and Britain landed on the beaches of Normandy. One of the founding members of Bon Jovi is dead. The band confirmed on Twitter that 70-year-old Alec John Such died. The former bass player is considered to have been instrumental in inviting Richie Sambora and Tico Torres to join the iconic band. Such left Bon Jovi in 1994, saying at the time he was burned out. I'm Michael Kastner.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now? That live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case. And you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. Yes, it is lovely. What do you mean, no? Yes, it is lovely because we're going to make it lovely. So it is a lovely Monday. Anyway, so let's get into the meat and potato of things, if we can. So let's start talking about what is going on according to the hit list. So that's what we're going to do right now. Anyways, last week an email was leaked that Elon Musk sent to Tesla employees giving notice that the company would trim 10% of its workforce, and the move would worry investors in the market and triggering a 9% drop in Tesla stock price overall. So there you go. But all the layoffs are the only part of the story. Musk's brief email said that the company is overstaffed in many areas, suggesting the company was becoming bloated and unnecessary bureaucracy. Oh, there you go. Musk also said that he added explicitly that hourly headcount will increase, meaning that there will be a rank in file factory workers who actually produce for the companies and products. Meanwhile, the Federal Trade Commission has formally cleared the sale for Twitter for Musk. The deal remains subject to approval by Twitter and shareholders alike. And there you go, Musk and on Musk ends. Clarification of how many accounts are real and people must be the bot count. So there you go. That will be an interesting one overall. Melatonin gummies and pills have exploded in popularity in recent years and help people fall asleep, leading to the uptick in children getting their hands on them and overdosing. Poison Control Centers reported that six-fold increases in such calls over the last decade. Usually about kids who get their hands on the supplement that they think that it's a form of candy. Worth noting, it is something to be cautious about, but not to freak out over. And 83% of the calls to Poison Control, the children who took the gummies weren't even showing symptoms to be worried about. So here's the thing. You know, and this is where I kind of get hung up on some of this stuff. If you make something candy-like, so it looks like candy and a child gets it, well, what the hell do you think's going to happen? I mean, it's just kind of, I'm not going to say it's common knowledge, but you have to look at it as, okay, you make something like candy. I mean, if you go as far back as when they started making adult-oriented cartoons, yes, cartoons, of course kids started watching because they didn't know what the hell was going on. They thought it was just a cartoon. It was like, oh, I didn't realize it was supposed to turn into this, so let's use some common sense here. The other side of the equation is, how are they in reach of? Would be the other thing. I mean, it's still a terrible incident to occur, but we need to have a better understanding on how the hell this is going on. Maybe that's something to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, well, NASA has, some plans to put out the Explorer on Venus in 2029. The paper outlining the mission was published at the Planetary Science Journal on May the 21st. Let's try that again. May the 24th. The mission is nicknamed Da Vinci. short for the deep atmosphere of Venus investigation of noble gases. Wow. I'm glad that that's what they decided to call it. Anyways, let's see. What else? A spherical probe will spend about an hour let's see, falling through the planet atmospheres, taking images of gas samples, as it would only be expected to be operable for about 18 minutes after landing. 18 minutes? What kind of money are we investing into this one? The Soviets put a pair of, worth noting, of course, the Soviets put a pair of landers on Venus back in October of 1975 called Venera 9 and 10. These were the first landers to send back images from the surface of another planet. So here's my question. If you are to send this thing off, how long will it take before the images come back? I'm just curious, because I would like to have a better understanding of that. And then what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with the info? What are you going to do with the data? What are you going to do with the hard data once you get it back? I mean, I'm kind of curious about all that stuff. Anyways, there's one pollution problem electric cars won't be able to solve: the particles given off from rubber tires. The Guardian reports that tire particles pollute the air, water, and soil and contain a wide range of toxic organic compounds. So much of that tire produces almost 2,000 times more particle pollutions than the exhaust pipe. So what the hell is going to be done about that? Maybe that's the question to be asking now. Hold on. To be asking now. So there you go. That's some things to think about. A lot of stuffy-uffy to be going over right there. Anyway, so we are coming out of the weekend, so we normally talk about the box office and what people were oohing over the weekend. So let's take a look real quick. At number 10 was Crimes of the Future with $1.1 million. At number 9 was The Lost City with $1.3 million. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with $1.7 million. And number 7 was Vikram with $1.8 million. And number 6 was Everything Everywhere All at Once, $2 million. Downtown Abbey, A New Era, $3 million, the number 5 spot. And the number 4 spot at $3.3 million was The Bad Guys. And number 3 was the Bob Burgers movie, $4.5 million. And number 2 was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, $9.2 million. And at the number 1 spot, well, should I tell you, or do you already know? Well, it was Top Gun Maverick with $86 million. I really think that that's going to put Tom Cruise for his best opening, best domestic movie so far. I think that that's how that's going to work out, but I could be absolutely wrong, because what the hell do I know? Anyways, with that being said, I think it might be some time to bring in some Johnny Smalls and let him tell us about what's going on inside of the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, June 6th, 2022. Equities finished a volatile week on a down note last week, with the S&P 500 down more than 1.5% at the low of Friday's session. The move was small but no less important because it confirms the presence of resistance at key levels between 4,100 and 4,200 on the S&P 500. If the market cannot get back above that level this week, it most likely will not until late in the summer. This week, the market will be focusing on the CPI data due out Friday, and it could be a hot number. Not only are commodity prices still firm, but oil and wages are still on the rise. The best case scenario is that consumer level inflation moderated slightly on a month-to-month basis, but at a level that is still very high. The risk for the market is a hotter than expected figure, an increased expectation for aggressive FOMC action this year. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for letting us know what exactly is going on inside of the world of the market. The Dow and the S&P and the Nasdaq were all down on Friday over the weekend. The national average price of gas surged even further. Are you ready for this? 4.84. Yes, $4.84, according to AAA. In June of 2018, gas was about $2.94 as the national average there. $2.94. So some things have changed. Some things really going all over the place there, just in regards of what we are talking about. So I'm pretty sure that's not what people want to hear about, but it's something that we have to talk about because it is the reality of the world that we are in. You're probably already feeling the pain at the pump. So something to talk about. I guess it's just not the greatest thing to discuss. Anyways, you heard about some major weather events supposed to be taking place over the weekend, so let's talk about it. South Florida soaked and submerged from the storm. Miami and the surrounding areas are still drying out after being soaked by the first named storm of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. Natalie Rodriguez has more information.
Prior to being named this weekend, Tropical Storm Alex pounded South Florida with torrential downpours resulting in flooding in some sections, even forcing some residents from their homes, like Laura Cano, who lived at a 6-unit complex in Coral Springs.
The roof caved in. Now it's moldy, it's gross, it's disgusting.
Crews in Hialeah Gardens, where several cars were submerged, have their hands full.
We're pumping water out to a retention area we have on one of our parts. We also have retention water trucks that hold about 2,000 gallons each of water. We're pumping some of the water into those trucks.
Rain totals vary from 8 to 11 inches. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
Okay, thank you, Natalie, for that one. So that was what was going on inside of the world of South Florida as we are talking here, just in particular, that regards right there. Anyways, did you hear about this? One man shot to death outside a Queens recording studio. Detectives are looking into the person who shot and killed a man outside of a recording studio in Ridgewood, Queens. Scott Pringle has more information.
Witnesses heard gunshots around 1:30 this morning outside an industrial building, and this was at the intersection of Wyckoff Street and Summerfield Avenue.
And we heard like 6 straight shots, like boom, 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 boom. And there were like several people coming outside.
Police say a 21-year-old was shot in the head and killed as he was leaving the recording studio. No word yet on a motive. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Scott, for that one, letting us know what exactly is going on inside of there. Let's take a listen to this real quick. Tens of thousands of driver's license and IDs in Massachusetts are being reprinted after officials catch an error. James Rojas has more information.
A lot of people can expect to get new credentials in the mail very soon. This is after more than 53,000 driver's licenses and ID cards were found to be missing what's called a fraud prevention feature. Now, the cards that were issued are still valid, but they need to be reprinted for security reasons. The Virginia-based company that prints the cards for the Commonwealth says it found an anomaly with one of its printers, and that's what led to the error being discovered. Now, those who do receive a replacement are told to destroy their old one. That is, again, after they get their new one. James Rojas, Boston.
Why did James Rojas has to reference after you get your new one? Why would you actually try to destroy the thing before you got the new one? Just something to think about. So what else do we have around here? Let's jump around a little bit. We're going to jump, and jump, okay? People protest mass shootings. Hundreds of people in the Metro Detroit are protesting against gun violence after a mass shooting. Detroit Police Chief James White attended Saturday's protest.
We cannot arrest our way out of this problem. And the police alone, we can't stop it. Yes, we need our community, and our community has to step up and say enough is enough, and we want this to stop.
Several protesters brought their kids to Saturday's event and hope that they can have a safer world. Jujuan Zoe attended the gun violence protest.
We can't just sit back and watch people lose their lives and not care, but care when it happened to us.
So listen to that one. We're going to stay in Michigan for a moment and take a listen to this. 2 arrested in an 11-year-old shooting death. 2 people are jailed in the shooting of the death of the 11-year-old in Detroit. Zendia Pa was shot inside of a home on Saturday night at a family gathering at her grandmother's house. Take a listen to this.
Naya made it here at 10 o'clock, and she did not live past 10:30. It happened instantly, that fast.
Police say that the home was not the target of the shooters. One adult and one juvenile have been arrested. Grandmother LaWanda Melton says that she tried to keep her granddaughter alive.
I put a cloth on her back, held the hole. I talked to her and told her to continue to breathe, and she lost life as soon as the police came.
So with that being said, terrible outcome inside of Michigan. Now take a listen to this one as well. CPD officer person wounded in shootout on south side of Chicago. A Chicago police officer is seriously wounded following a shootout that left another person hurt on the south side. CPD Superintendent David Brown says that 3 uniformed officers were riding in an unmarked vehicle yesterday when they tried to make a traffic stop at the 6900 block. And here's what happened.
This car pulled into a dead end in an alley. The offender got out of the car and began firing at the officers, and there was an exchange of gunfire.
Okay, 1 officer and the suspect were shot. The wounded officer was taken into the hospital in serious but stable condition, while the suspect was in critical condition. Okay, so let's say we're going to take a dive into this and hopefully jump out of it real quick as well. Nancy Pelosi says the House will vote on gun package soon. Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that the House is going to vote on the sweeping gun package in the coming days. Bree Jackson reports.
Another weekend of deadly mass shootings across the U.S. A bipartisan group of senators began work on new gun legislation in the wake of recent mass shootings. Negotiators say Congress is closer than ever before on reaching an agreement.
The package would raise the age and required to buy semi-automatic weapons from 18 to 21 years of age, while also not allowing civilians to use high-capacity magazines and bump stock. It would comes after multiple mass shootings in recent weeks, including Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Tulsa, and now over the weekend has seen 6 people killed and over 24 wounded in shootings in Philadelphia and Chattanooga, Tennessee. Bree Jackson outlined some Republicans' opposition for reform.
But some measures don't have the support needed from Republicans, who say the focus should be on issues like mental health instead of efforts to raise the minimum age to purchase an assault weapon from 18 to 21.
So there you go. A lot of information on those things that are going on now inside of the timeline. So what do you think when you hear this? Because I know that this is going to be the question for controversy across the board, regardless of where you stand. And I think you already know that. Anyways, with it being 30 some odd minutes past the top of the hour, 32 to be exact, I think it's time to do that thing that we do around this time.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, I keep on going around and talking to people and be having the great opportunity, because it is a great opportunity to be able to interact and talk and do the things that I get to do. And I'm always amazed when that phone rings, that email comes through where people want to talk about how changes can take place inside of their organization in regards of what they can do to make things be a little different than what they were before. And it's amazing to me that, you know, we get the call and we move forward and do this and do that and so on. But the number one question that I get when anyone calls and we start chatting for just a small bit of time is, what book would you recommend to start the journey? And I think that's a funny question. It's a funny question because it's an interesting question. Because I always get hung up that I don't want people to think that the book is the silver bullet, because there is no silver bullet book. I mean, I guess maybe there is a book called Silver Bullet, but maybe this is not exactly what they mean by that. So I always have a book that I recommend, and we've spoken about this book hundreds of times on this show and any other show that I've been on. But it makes me default to the question right away. It makes me want to ask you, do you have a go-to book when you recommend things to people? Like, is there a book that you say, if you're going to change things inside of your organization, this is the book to go to? This is the book that I would strongly recommend. I'm just wondering. I'm wondering because of the question I'm getting so many times out. So I wonder, do you have something that you default to in regards of books? And if you do have one, what is it that you recommend? I would love to see it. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. By the way, if you are interacting, if you put it inside of the chat box, I won't see you. But if you go to callinradio.com, I'll see it. The easiest way to do this, by the way, is being on safetyfm.com and going to visual radio because the call-in radio box is right there. You just click on it. But with that being said, is there a default book that you have? Because our default book here that we recommend strongly is this one. It's this little book right here that's titled Simple Revolutionary Acts. This is Todd Conklin's first book. And I want to say this thing came out like, I always get the years messed up on when I start taking a look at it. Back in 2004. This book came out in 2004. Simple Revolutionary Acts. And I mean, I will tell you, this thing is a simple read, and it's broken down almost individualized, like individual by a couple of pages on where you can go, okay, I'm going to read this little section today, make time to think about things. Okay, cool, speak the truth, and several different things along these lines. Now, this book is probably the one that I recommend the most when people are talking about cultural change and safety changes inside of their organizations. When you read that book, and you already are familiar with some level of HOP, human and organizational performance, you will realize that that is some of the cornerstones and some of the foundations on where it's going to go. So we recommend that book, and I will tell you, with that book, we normally give it away. Like if you go to safetyfmplus.com and sign up for the little trial, or even if you just sign up, that is something that you can download immediately directly off of our system as soon as you get in. That is one of the first things that we recommend that you take a hold of. And it's a nice little simple read, but is one of the books that I would probably recommend the most if you are starting a journey on going down this. So with that being said, there are books that apply to so many different things in life. So one can sit back and go, well, if you have this kind of scenario, you can read this book and read that book. Now, over the weekend, I spent a lot of time taking a look at a lot of books that are recommended across the board. And I took a lot of time looking at books that people would tell you, yes, it works, but you have to do the work. Well, I would hope so, because you can't just read a book and life's going to change. But I thought it was weird that some of them actually went as far as saying, if things don't change for you, it's because you didn't do enough work. If things don't change for you, it's because you didn't have enough belief in the system. I thought that was some weird wording. But let me not get off on that tangent, because that will be easy for me. But with that being said, what books do you recommend? What books have you put the work in that was recommended from the book? Because listen, I can read a book. I can have Audible read a book to me. Doesn't mean that my life is going to change unless I put the things to practice. Unless I guess Siri wanted to jump into that conversation. The Hey Siri stuff. So there you go. So with that being said, what books have you put into practice, and what has worked for you? Or have no books worked at all? That's a question for you. But then again, these are the questions that we ask during this show, because we never know where the hell we're going to go with this.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home title locks put a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Cuando me deja un mensaje de la drama, cuando peleamos a las 2 de la mañana, tú no vale la pena nunca volver a mi cama. Cuando pones mi canción favorita y me embala con tu jodido cuerpito, it's a trap, I know, tryna reel me back, cause you never let go. I know, you never let
Okay, there you go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. Suéltame. Lord Ito. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Thanks to Lord Ito for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, nothing better than some modern Latin music. Baby, suéltame, ahí estás. Okay, 44 past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing our lovely thing. Let's talk about it because we need to. It's so important that we can't go a day without talking about it, so we're going to do it right now. Let's talk about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experience from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word talk to 741-741. So there you go. A lot of information going on right there, but it is something that we need to talk about, not sometime, but all the time. This conversation should be ongoing. No stigma, no nothing. We should be able to have that conversation. If you want to find out how you can help make a difference, yes, you, or if you need the assistance, you can go to afsp.org, or you can just go to their website and look at how you make a difference, or see how everything can be done from there. So all important to talk about. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more about some things that are happening, not that have happened. So let's go from there. So take a listen to this. Uber Foobars. Yeah, Uber has released its 6th annual Lost and Found Index, revealing some of the most common and most unusual items left behind in a driver's vehicle. As you might expect, the most common item left behind on an Uber vehicle during the past year is phones and cameras, wallets, keychains, backpack, purses, headphones, speakers, glasses, clothing, vaping devices, jewelry, and IDs. But what about a unique item that were reported lost by passengers, such as tater tots, a fingernail, my grandma's teeth, 500 grams of caviar, a pizza costume, let's see, a fucking painting of a moose, that's what it said there, a Billie Eilish ukulele, an employee of a month, a plaque, a Bernie Sanders fanny pack, a crochet of strawberries, a bucket of smiles, a brown torchère, a ball bag, and a stethoscope. Let's see, what else? More than 40 riders lost their CPAP machines, and more than 30 reported lost retainers, and 5 people reported lost dentures. Least popular item to be left behind in Uber, your lunch, of course. And I'm already compiling a list of the reports of hopes of making it for next year's list. So there you go. There you go. So I guess the next time you're on an Uber, you need to make sure that you have all your stuff with you and you don't leave anything behind, because you just don't want to make the list. That's probably part of the thing of what you have going on. So with that being said, I think it might be time for me to come in and have Johnny Smalls come in and give you the Motivation Minute, because I think we need to be motivated.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Chris. Jim Rohn said, "Enjoy all you have while pursuing all you want." That's a nice quote. I've met people who seem to constantly want whatever they don't have. They get a new car and they like it until their neighbor gets a nicer, newer car. Then they think they need a newer, nicer car too. I've never really cared what my neighbor does. I like my neighbors, but if they get a new truck, I'm happy for them. And I continue to like my vehicle just fine. It's a great way to live. Enjoy what you have and be thankful for it. You'll be amazed how quickly you're blessed with even more than you could ever expect. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. Imagine if you didn't have any taste buds and you couldn't taste anything. Do you think you would still crave sugar? Well, turns out the answer is probably yes. A study demonstrated that a sweet tooth is not so much about our taste receptors, but more about what's happening in our brain. In other words, our brain craves dopamine we get from sugary foods as part of a survival mechanism for glucose. It also means that sugar cravings are a lot more about our behavior and habits than how much satisfaction we get from tasting something sweet. Therefore, when it comes to getting around sweet tooth, it's more of a psychological play. It comes down to things like fasting, taking hot and cold showers, exercising, eating earlier in the day for better satiety, and eating less carbs when we're not active, so we're not stimulating the dopamine craving response for no reason. For more, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 49 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, lovely Monday. Yes, lovely, lovely Monday. Yes. What else do we have going around and roaming on this planet of ours? Let's see. What do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about the good news? Let's talk about a new good news. A woman whose family fled Britain to escape the war has closed her seaside hotel to tourists so that she can give Ukraine refugees a place to stay. Nitsa Michael is no longer taking guests at the Seaward Hotel in Weston-super-Mare in England. Instead, she has rolled out the welcome mat to the 22 Ukrainians so far, providing a home away from home. Her family fled Cyprus following a Turkish invasion back in 1974. She wanted to do something to help people in the same horrible situation. Fleeing from Russia aggression in the Ukraine, the 84-year-old says that she felt for them and decided to help in a big way. Her daughter Michelle, who runs the hotel, says the 22 arrivals share meals and time together, and basically they heal together. The hotel has 48 rooms. A man has welcomed and opened his arms to people from Birmingham, Alabama. So he invited the entire city to his wedding. 31-year-old Schwab Antal has hyper. Well, I'm not being able to pronounce that. He has a disease and could not get the surgery for the need for that he needed in Pakistan. So he arranged so that to have it done in Birmingham. Answers posted to Facebook and Reddit groups asking questions about everything from a local culture to what clothes he should bring. Tips came in flooding in. Anwar told the reporters that people responded in a way that he wouldn't have ever expected by his own people from Pakistan. Answer to surgery was successful, and when he returned home, he showed his appreciation for Birmingham's resident by posting an online open invitation to his wedding on May the 22nd. Birmingham was treated me very well as a favorite son. Birmingham has now become part of my life. So there you go. A moving and motivational story as we are talking on this lovely, lovely day. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. Unfortunately, it seems like there was a lot of shootings over the weekend. So when I start talking about this is what we're going to get into once again. Person shot in the leg at the Hamilton Heights bus stop in New York. Police are questioning a person of interest in connection with the shooting at the bus stop. Scott Pringle has more information.
Well, this man says he heard several gunshots around 9:30 last night at 145th Street and Amsterdam Avenue.
Everybody started shooting for no reason these days. Doesn't make any sense.
Surveillance video shows people scattering as bullets flew. One man sitting at a bus stop was hit in the leg. It's unclear if he was the intended target. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you for this information, Scott. A graduation party turns deadly after a shooting. Kathy White reports.
One person is dead after shots were fired at a Chesterfield graduation party. Police say that more than 50 people were in attendance Friday night before gunfire erupted. This mother is fed up.
For that to happen at a graduation celebration, it is disgusting.
Police say 20-year-old Tabori Carter was killed, while a handful of others were injured. Shonda Gaston says parents must become more involved in their children's activities.
I think it starts at home. Us, as parents, we need to pay more attention to our children. We need to be a little bit more nosier. We need to be going through their phones, all of the above, to figure out what type of lifestyle they are living.
I'm Kathy White.
Okay, one more. At least 12 killed in the weekend mass shooting. At least a dozen of people after another weekend of mass shootings across the country. Gabe Gutierrez has more info.
Since Friday, there have been 13 mass shootings across the country, according to the Gun Violence Archive, which defines mass shootings as 4 or more shot, not including the shooter.
I am furious, not just for my neighborhood, for the whole country.
The number of deaths surpassed Memorial Day weekend when 9 were killed in a mass shooting. Philadelphia saw 3 shot to death and 12 injured in a mass shooting incident, while 2 were killed and 12 injured in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Let's see. Gabe Gutierrez says that Congress is feeling the need to act. So we'll see if more information comes about from there. I don't even know where to go once we start talking about stuff along these lines. It's just so many things come to mind that we could talk about, but You never know where to go when you were talking. Let's get into some other news real quick. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday night's drawing will be a $207 million jackpot or $119.3 million cash payout. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for a $198 million jackpot or $114.4 million cash payout. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm and talking about the things that are going on. Don't worry, we will talk about the showbiz stuff of what was going on at the 2022 MTV Movie and TV Awards last night, so don't worry about that. We'll talk about all that stuff if you want to come out, hang out, and do some stuff over there. If you're looking for some birthdays for today, I got some of those real quick. Let's take a look-see at some of those. A matter of fact, before we go into birthdays, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in, 1984, popular video game Tetris is released and was designed by a Soviet game designer, Alexei Petrovich. The game spread like wildfire when programmed for Game Boy and Game Boy Color, a platform on which it sold over 35 million. Yes, 35 million copies. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Kenny Pinkett turns 24. Nicole Valdez turns 29. Ross McDonald, 33. Drew McIntyre turns 37. Jason Isaacs, 59. Tom Araya, 61. Robert Englund, from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger, he turned 73 today, so that's some birthdays that are going on today. If you are looking for some reasons to celebrate, well, I got some of those today. Today's D-Day, National Eyewear Day, National Higher Education Day, National Applesauce Day, National Drive-Thru Movie Day, National Gardening Exercise Day, National Yo-Yo Day, and Russian Language Day. So I guess there you go. A lot of stuff going on that you can celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, let's continue real quick. If you need a random joke for today, I'm pretty sure I have one of those for you. I opened a deer cloning service. It's for anyone hoping to make a quick buck. What is the oddest summer job that you've ever had? I'll reference this real quick. I got to paint when I was in my teens the Baylor dorm rooms, in good old Waco, Texas. Many moons ago. That was probably one of the oddest jobs that I had, at least during that timeline. I'm sure I can go into some others. What else? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question: 40% of women admit that they have had their hair cut for this reason. What is it? Their driver's license picture. And that is not a joke. Anyways, like I said, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm. If you want to come and hang out and do the things that we can do over there, all you have to do is go to RadioBig.fm. That will take you there from any web browser. Or you can go to TuneIn and then look for Radio Big. That will get you there as well. So there you go. A couple of different options on how to do this. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what we have going on here today, because I really do appreciate it. Without you, there is no sense of doing this thing. That is for sure. You are the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. So there you go. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. To hit the mark, aim above the mark. Think about that. Anyways, thank you. Thank you for your time today. Hopefully, I will see you tomorrow. Here we go. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.